Scorpio, this is Selena Hart, and if you've been feeling the edge of something stirring, something not quite loud enough to name, but impossible to ignore, you're right on time. Let me talk to you about what's coming. Because this Thursday, the 24th of July, is not just another day on the calendar. It's the kind of moment that rewrites everything. And for someone like you, Scorpio, someone who doesn't move unless the current underneath is strong enough to carry truth, this shift will land deeply, precisely, and without asking for your permission. This new moon isn't soft. It doesn't arrive with soothing affirmations or the promise of a clean slate. It arrives with force subtle but undeniable, and it hits in the places you've outgrown but haven't admitted. The energies around the 24th of July are working in silence, moving like a low tide that reveals everything hidden beneath the surface. You won't need to light a candle or set your intentions aloud, because this isn't about hoping. This is about noticing what's already lining up too perfectly to be coincidence. The universe isn't asking you what you want, it's checking whether you're actually paying attention to what's arriving. For Scorpio, this is financial, emotional, and psychic alignment, all converging at once. The old belief you've carried, the one that said you needed to fight for what you earn, prove yourself, or wait for permission to thrive, is being cracked open. Not with drama, but with eerie clarity. You may overhear a sentence, read something random, or have a quiet thought that keeps echoing in your mind. And that thought, that shift, is not just a realization, it's a key. This moon doesn't bring money out of thin air. It shows you exactly where it's been blocked and how to move past the barrier you didn't even know was there. And Scorpio, here's the truth. When something clicks for you, it doesn't trickle, it floods. Your power has never been about fast action or blind optimism. It's been about the timing of your truth, the integrity of your choices, and the sharpness of your inner knowing. What's happening now will ask you to trust that inner voice before you have evidence, to act before you're entirely ready. And I know how hard that is for you. But this moment isn't waiting for your perfection. It's watching your alignment. So when conversations feel off this week, when people withdraw or come too close without reason, I don't chase it or try to decode it. That's not rejection, it's redirection. The chaos isn't punishment. It's the system resetting, because anything that doesn't match where you're headed is being moved, paused, or removed altogether. Not because you failed to hold it, but because you're finally strong enough to release it. This new moon doesn't operate on logic. It moves through instinct. You'll feel it in your gut, in your chest, in the way your thoughts start shifting from what if to I know. And that shift will pull you toward a decision you've delayed, a connection you've overlooked, or a version of yourself you've been afraid to fully step into. The path that's opening for you isn't loud. It won't come with fireworks or applause, but it will feel like truth. And if you're honest with yourself, you'll realize it's been waiting for you all along. So move quietly, but move now. Say yes before your mind has time to doubt it. Don't waste this alignment by asking for signs you've already received. This isn't about guessing anymore. It's about choosing, and if you let it, this new moon will open the door you didn't even realize was locked from the inside. I'll be back soon, Scorpio. But for now, take a breath and prepare. What you've been waiting for is already in motion, and you, of all signs, are ready to meet it. And Scorpio, let's be clear, this shift isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself with fanfare. It slides in beneath your routines, beneath your logic, and begins rearranging everything you thought was stable. That's how real change moves. Not in dramatic explosions, but in a quiet internal pull that makes yesterday's truth feel suddenly outdated. You won't need a ritual, a moon bath, or a carefully written intention. This new moon doesn't require permission. It requires presence. because the transformation is already underway, working in the background like a code, rewriting itself without warning. And when it lands, you'll realize it's not asking you to start over. It's inviting you to walk through a door that's been waiting, invisible, just beside the path you kept repeating. That door won't open for hesitation. It opens for trust. And this week, alignment won't wait for certainty. It moves for those who move, especially you, Scorpio, because underneath all your silence and intensity is a soul that's been rehearsing this leap for years. You know what's ready. Even if your fear still tries to negotiate, don't let it. The universe is speeding up. And those who step first before all the lights turn green will find themselves in rooms they never thought they'd enter. Opportunities that once felt distant are collapsing into now. This is sacred acceleration. Not forced, not planned, but perfectly timed for those willing to act on truth instead of proof. So if something stirs in you, if a thought won't leave you, if a direction keeps calling, this isn't coincidence. It's choreography. The kind that rewards the ones who dare to move while others are still waiting for signs. You don't need more time. You need to decide. The timeline has already shifted. And so have you. And Scorpio, here's where it gets even more precise. This new moon isn't dangling wealth like a prize. It's exposing the thought that's been quietly cutting off your flow. The belief you inherited, absorbed, or silently repeated, the one that says you have to hustle to deserve, that ease is suspicious. Or that abundance isn't meant for people like you, that belief is being cracked open. Not all at once, but just enough to let something new in. A subtle shift in your inner dialogue, a strange moment of clarity that makes an old narrative suddenly sound absurd. That's the opening. That's the fracture in the dam. And once it gives, the momentum is unstoppable. This isn't about sudden windfalls or fantasy thinking. It's about finally seeing that the scarcity you felt wasn't reality. It was programming. The money, the opportunity, the stability you've been reaching for, it wasn't far away. It was just hidden behind the way you've been taught to think about value. And the moment that thought loosens, everything around it starts to move. Your energy changes. Your posture changes. You begin making decisions from worth, not worry. And that's when the dominoes fall. Because wealth isn't isolated. It never has been. Once you shift your relationship with it, the ripple touches everything else. Your connections, your career, your sense of clarity, even how you hold space in a room. People respond differently. Offers feel cleaner. Conversations open doors instead of closing them. What once felt complicated begins to simplify, not because the world changed, but because you finally stopped filtering it through an outdated version of yourself. This is what the new moon is doing. Not gifting abundance, but revealing the version of you that's always been capable of receiving it. And when that version leads, the rest of your life starts falling into place quietly, naturally, without the friction you've grown used to. So if money starts moving, if clarity starts forming, if people start reacting to you like something shifted, they're not imagining it. And neither are you. You're finally aligned with the life that matches your depth, and it begins now. And Scorpio, as your inner world shifts, so does your reflection in the eyes of others. But let's be honest, this isn't about becoming someone new. It's about finally being seen without distortion. Without the fog of outdated roles or other people's projections. The version of you that once felt overlooked or misunderstood isn't changing, it's emerging. And the moment that happens, the noise begins to fall away. People who never quite got you start drifting to the edges, while the ones who recognize your depth begin showing up not out of nowhere, but because the signal is finally clear. That's the quiet miracle of this new moon. It doesn't just adjust your energy, it cleans the frequency so the right people can hear you. And with that clarity comes speed. You'll notice the universe isn't operating on delay anymore. What you name, You begin to see what you act on responds. This moon doesn't entertain indecision or vague intentions. It amplifies precision. If you speak your truth clearly, if you choose without flinching, the return is immediate, and not in grand gestures, but in unmistakable signs. The right message, the yes you weren't expecting, the door that swings open with timing too sharp to be coincidence. You're no longer waiting for confirmation. You are the confirmation. And here's what might surprise you most. It won't feel like performance anymore. You're not trying to prove, explain, or earn your place. You simply are, and that stillness, that grounded presence, is the new foundation of your power. You won't have to say more to be understood. You won't have to soften the truth to be accepted. The room will feel your clarity before you speak. That's what confidence really is. Scorpio, not volume, not charisma, but a deep and unwavering calm that says, I know who I am, and I no longer need your agreement to be at peace. Let that version of you take the lead now, because the moment you do, the world begins to reorganize around the energy you've been cultivating in silence. This is visibility without noise. This is power without effort. This is you finally unfiltered. Scorpio, if you've made it this far, take a breath with me, because something real is about to land. This new moon isn't asking for your trust. It's assuming it. It's moving through your life with the kind of quiet precision that doesn't wait for permission or explanation. And you, of all signs, understand that kind of depth. You've always known that real transformation doesn't arrive with fanfare. It comes in the silence. In the moment you finally stop second-guessing yourself and start walking like it's already yours. This week is not about waiting. It's about stepping into alignment before the world catches up. So whatever you're circling, whatever keeps returning to your thoughts, whatever pulls at you in that quiet, undeniable way, follow it. Not because it's safe, not because it's logical, but because it's real. The path that opens now is the one only you can see clearly. And this time, you don't need to explain your steps to anyone. Let the old weight fall away. Let the static fade. Let the clarity take its place. You're not chasing anymore. Scorpio, you're receiving, and the life that fits is finally arriving, not louder, but clearer. Until next time, stay grounded, stay sharp, and when the door opens, don't hesitate. Walk through it. This is Selena Hart. And as always, you're exactly where you need to be.